Thank you very much. Councilmember Patton.
Thank you. I'm guessing that I probably have the most institutional knowledge on this project. And I say that with all due respect because there are people in the audience and people that sit up here that have done a lot of things. But I was involved in 1998 as a planning commissioner when Cottonwood went in. I was involved in the Revitalization Action Plan, not only as a planning commissioner, but also as a member of the Downtown Association. I was involved in the Highway 50 operational improvements projects, and I've been involved in the Clay Street realignment to Cedar Ravine and Main Street for as long as this project has been coming down the pikes. And it started with the Cottonwood, with the bridge. But I think forward-thinking people, they look at the bridge and they go, well, why would we put a new bridge or fix this problem just to let it dead end into a problematic pedestrian section? And all you have to do is go to Sweetie Pie's on a Saturday morning or a Sunday morning and you see what I'm talking about. The people, and the farmer's market doesn't even have to be there. There are people that jaywalk all the time through that intersection, and it's a problem, and it's going to get worse. And I've tried to stay quiet because out of respect mostly for this council and the idea of a new day. But these exact design workshops happened in 2005, in 2006, in 2009, and in 2010, and in 2011 when it finally went to the city council and got voted on. And every single one of those meetings, there was supporters and there were opponents. And it wasn't until the last year, 6 months, that a certain group of people tied redevelopment and the roundabout together, and the whole non-use of tax money, the Tea Party movement, all of that coincided to make a perfect storm, and they could basically dominate the hearings, which they do, again, which you do every single meeting. The same people talk. I have your names every single meeting. It's the same group, and they say the same thing. And I agree with Kathy Lishman that this group that's up here is elected to look at all of the city and all of the community. And infrastructure always disrupts business, always. It doesn't matter if you're just paving a pothole. It disrupts business. It disrupts residents. I live right up the hill from here. I heard Highway 50 Ops project the whole time it was going on. I heard of building the pedestrian bridge. We wouldn't have those beautiful amenities today if we hadn't fought the fight back in 2005, I think. If we hadn't gone through the revitalization project, we wouldn't have had the context-sensitive design that Caltrans had to agree to and gave us, I think, I don't know, $4 million project. I don't even know how much that brought to the city. We didn't pay any of that. Caltrans paid it all because we fought the fight before and came to agreement on what design standards we wanted as a community. And it was in those fights that Gary Hayden was hired to design Main Street, to develop the street standards that you have today. The benches and the lampposts and all those things to make it a cohesive design. When the roundabout came forward, and for any of you who happened to read the staff report, was back in, what, 1890? Whenever, the Druids built the monument, and it was in a circle. It was a traffic circle, and they said, and I'm actually going to quote it, because I thought, you know, here we are. They said, and a lot of us are for history. Marion Washburn lives in a historical house. I live in a historical house. Sue Taylor's rebuilding a historical building on Main Street. Placerville is the city where the portals of the past is recreated as a gift from the present generation to countless thousands of yet unborn. It is okay for us to have a nice intersection. It is okay for us to look at the aesthetics of this town and make it better. It is not okay, in my opinion, to turn a blind eye to failure of this bridge, and I'm wondering, as a community now that I sit up here, now that we know and it has been identified as a functionally obsolete bridge, if it floods, are we now liable? Could the city not be held responsible for not taking action when it was determined to be functionally obsolete? I don't know if that's true, but it's something that I'd like to look into. I'm just going to say it is a new day. I would love to see new engineering standards that are going to say something that everyone can agree to. But I'm guessing you will never get 100% of the community to agree to anything. So it's this group's job, and it's also the community's job to find resolution and at least agree to disagree. You don't have to like me, but I like to think that you could at least respect me for sitting up here, as I respect you and listen to you when you come up to the podium. So that being said, I would like to move forward at least to look at option 2, to look at the designs. I have a little bit of a concern about segmenting the project because I think, like Carl said, I don't know how you can pull it all apart. And I'm just going to leave with this one final thought. If it's so funny to be talking about the funding, the CMAQ money, because if the community had not voted for a roundabout, the staff never would have gone out looking for that money. We wouldn't even be talking about it. But because they did that at that time, now we have at least this $1.2 million. We can either throw it away or we can use it. So I just find that interesting because traffic projects are thought of so far in advance. It takes years to get anything to an as-built to shovel ready, as most of it, anybody who has worked in transportation projects knows. So I find it interesting that we are now looking at the funding and going, well, why don't we do this instead? Because generally, that is not how it works.
Thank you very much.